Hey everybody, welcome to Hear Us Out. I am Patrick,
And I'm Paul.
and we're doing a special little Christmas Eve pre-recorded episode to tell you all that we love you and we hope you have a happy Christmas. And we thought, what better thing to do than just a little short video of the two of us having a chat. Since we're always talking about the cinema and how much we love it, we'd have a look back and talk to each other, a conversation we've genuinely never had before, about our first cinema experiences. So, what was the first film we ever saw, or first films we remember seeing, and why, and what sort of stories do we have around it? So, Paul, what was the first film you remember going to a cinema to see?
Yeah, so this is interesting because when we decided to do this one, I had to look this up and well, not look it up, but kind of like, I guess, try and figure out which one it was. And also, yeah, I guess search back in my memories and stuff like that to try and figure it out. But I remember now that the first movie that I ever saw, probably in cinema, that I can remember anyway, is Aladdin, the original animated Aladdin film, which is
Okay.
pretty cool. That came out in like 1992. So yeah, that was the first one that I ever saw. So
And that was that's an Aladdin I still have not seen all of, but that's Robin Williams' great turn as the genie.
yeah, yeah, famous kind of Robin Williams genie moments and stuff. So
Well,
yeah,
we're not going to give our ages away completely because maybe we were very late going to the cinema. Maybe we went when we were very, very young. You will see there'll be a slight age difference between us, but you can already tell haircuts alone. Um, I don't know. I don't know where that came from.
is that am I the older one?
Yeah, good point. I don't know. I would have to say though, going to the cinema to see something like Aladdin, that's a great first film. Like it's a really good intro to cinema. And it's funny that you should say that that was your first because as far as I know, my first I don't fully remember very well. Was also an animated film, and it was Bambi, which I am told I went to see. And I vaguely remember having, a cinema experience, and I wanted to go and see. I think Firefox, the Clint Eastwood movie, was playing, and my brother went there because we were in America at the time, and he got to go to an adult thing, and I was being brought to this like kids thing. They were obviously playing Bambi reruns on some screen in this multiplex in America, and apparently I made it like a few minutes in and went to sleep. So
Ooh,
my first cinema experience as a very little kid was, hey, this is a dark room. Hey, that's a big TV. Hey, nobody's making noise. I'm going to go to sleep now because at that stage, I'm sure if it was Star Wars, I would have stayed awake. Um, but technically, I think that was my first.
yeah, yeah.
So
I don't.
your experience as a very very first time might have been a bit better than mine.
Well, like this is the thing, because like I'm. It was probably that I was brought to it by like my mum or by someone else's mum, kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
as a big kind of kids gathering thing going on to the cinema and stuff. So like it's probably not like we probably had ice cream cake at the end of it as well because it was probably someone's birthday
Yeah.
kind of thing. So like I don't really remember too much of it. Yeah. So, but I do remember that Aladdin was the, as far as I can look back between when I was born and like the last film that I can like the first film I can remember seeing is Aladdin. So that's the thing.
Well, if Aladdin and Bambi were where we broke our duck, what was your? Because obviously, and I guess I'll go next. My first real cinema memory, and I'm gonna cheat and use two movies to tell this story because I don't honestly know which came first. My memory says that it was the one that my sisters picked. There was a little cinema in the town where I come from. It's long gone now. It was a little kind of, I would say probably a 40 seater theater, maybe less. So it's a little one room cinema, and it wasn't exactly showing the most up to date movies at all times. It was actually, and I threw in a picture for this. It was Mary Poppins. My sisters picked Mary
Ah,
Poppins. So for a guy who now has referred to on this channel as cinemas as my version of a church, um, I went and saw Mary Poppins as a wee lad and was quite annoyed at my sisters going, the cinema's crap. I don't want to watch any of that muck anymore. But very, very soon after, I got to see Return of the Jedi. And everything changed.
Yeah, I say it would. Jeez.
Well, I'm from the country, went to our little local town, which is, about 6 miles away, went to the cinema, saw Outer Space on a screen bigger than I'd ever seen anything other than Dick Van Dyke on before, and then went home at night in the countryside with no light pollution on a
Yeah,
clear night.
wow.
Guess what I could see just after seeing Star Wars?
Yeah, wow.
I stood at the back of our house. They had to pull me in. I stood at the back of the house looking at the sky until I was physically pulled into the house. Because I was a believer. I could see the stars. I could see the inky blackness of the sky, and I'd just seen, Boba Fett thrown into a Sarlacc pit, for God's sakes.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I guess so if we're talking about the first one, so we do remember fully and stuff, and we do remember everything, it would be the Lion King.
Oh wow, cool.
So I do, because I do fully remember going to the Lion King, and
Which
it was a friend's birthday. I saw us in excuse me, the Bray Cinema when when it still was alive. It's now no more, sadly. Which goes, yeah, but I remember seeing us. It was a birthday thing, and then I went to uh, Bray Bowl for which is a bowling alley, for once again ice cream cake, and probably absolutely running amok around the arcade there, with no money as well. So just pretending to play things, and
yeah,
and
wiggling
so,
joysticks, playing the intro screen, trying to
yeah,
control the character while they were doing the pre-rehearsed moves that you've already seen whiz around a few times.
sitting on the motorcycles, and yeah. So that was probably, that's probably my first remembering is Lion King, definitely, yeah.
Wow, so you had
So
a couple of animated movies in a row. Believe me, I only saw Lion King this year for the first time in my entire life, which I know is weird for most people. But the original Mary Poppins is one that I now love, even though I hated it as a child. So, how do you feel about the first movie you ever remember seeing? Just anytime you see Lion King, do you have a special place in your heart for it?
I guess, yeah, because it was such a big moment in Disney kind of history as well.
Yeah, true.
Uh, like it was a brand new kind of non I guess it was like one of these kind of big huge hype things, because it was Elton John was like one of the main singers and everything like that, and there were so many actors that I really enjoyed in it, that I didn't realize until, I used to love Mr. Bean, and I didn't realize until later on that Rowan Atkinson plays the bird in it.
Oh yeah, good point.
So it was an interesting kind of, I guess, collaborate, I guess, joining of loads of kind of comedy heroes, as well as um new kind of seeing the fascination of kind of animation and stuff like that. Like yeah, I guess it's weird.
I know
Um
that's cool. Obviously, Return of the Jedi, because it was part of the whole Star Wars thing, was going to mean a lot to me. But strangely, I've only picked one other thing to sort of uh, share with you. Let's say, to give of my own personal heartfelt history with the cinema. One of the first times not one of the, I think the first time I ever got to see a movie in a big city, outside of that one in America where I fell asleep, so it's not really going to count. I was brought to the cinema by my brother, of all people. Great dude, brought me to the cinema to see Back to the Future 2. And it was the first time I was in what we now know today as a cinema, because it was the Savoy in Dublin, in Ireland, which was the biggest screen. And it was the first place I'd ever heard of the concept of surround sound, because that didn't exist in any of the little one room theaters that I'd ever been to in my country towns, or even the big next town. The one or two times I got to go to the cinema they had. So for Back to the Future 2, I had a magical evening where I got to have a slice of pizza from a place that served pizza, which was just amazing to me. Then went and sat down. I already loved Back to the Future. It was, obviously huge fan. Got to see this one, which had hoverboards and people in the future, but had, as I say, surround sound. And there is a scene that every time I see it to this day, and I've watched that film a couple hundred times probably, where one of the Biff's thugs or Biff himself throws his like whiskey bottle, and it smashes. And in the cinema, I remember where I was sitting in the Savoy Cinema when that bottle smashed behind me. I saw a guy throw it, and then I heard it break behind me, and my audio world changed forever. And that's why now, and we've talked about our our favorite cinema rooms, us being cinema nerds, what seat we like, what we like for this, what we like in that. And it's why I'm always like, yeah, I'm always picking it based on sound, because that floored me more than Mary Poppins ever could. So yeah, I can't watch Back to the Future. Every time that bottle gets thrown, my brain goes, God, surround sound's great.
Yeah, like that's a really amazing one to have for your kind of, I guess, your first audio tool,
Yeah,
like
first
audio
big
kind of
cinema
like.
experience. I got lucky. It could have been bloody Mary Poppins 2 or something. Or like,
Yeah,
if my sisters had been allowed pick, I would have seen Grease or some dung.
yeah, like I'm interested. Like that's a pretty cool one. Like there's one I guess like I one of them I'm surprised at how early I actually saw it, because like now that I think about it, is Independence Day, which is the one that I definitely think didn't think that I saw it so early as I did, kind of thing, because I do remember watching it in the cinema, and I remember that it was like I wasn't meant to,
Oh,
um because it's older, like
yeah.
it's like 16s or something like that back then, or maybe even 18s, kind of thing. Like it wasn't my first sci-fi movie, but it's like because it's a lot of sci-fi movies like Standing at Home and stuff. Like
Of
many of the
course, yeah.
Star Wars films I saw when I was like at home. But yeah, it was the first it was like one of the first moments realizing that I'd watched a film that was like probably too old for me.
And that's an epically cinema blockbustery film to have, because like, I was definitely old enough. I remember going to see it, and I remember what I was doing at the time. I was definitely over age, so to speak, but I loved it. Like that's a cinema experience I remember. It's a real
Yeah,
punch the air as you're walking out of the thing. It's like today's our Independence Day. Yeah, punch the alien. Will Smith, Fresh Prince kicks ass. Jeff Goldblum's cool. Um, it was an awesome film for. So as far as cinema experiences go, good choice.
yeah, like it's one of those films that I didn't. When I look back now, I'm just like, yeah, I wasn't meant to see that when I was that age. Yeah, like, because like I think I've talked enough about how like Gremlins scared the shit like absolute crap out of me.
Which
Kind
is
of try
completely
to be more.
understandable.
Yeah, but because I was very young when I saw that as well, and it kept me up for 2 weeks or something like that. But then after that, I haven't been as scared of films in any way compared to what I was. I think it's like just the 2 weeks of not being able to sleep because of that film has like burnt that part of me that's like I can no longer be scared by films.
So what you're saying is, without Gremlins, your love for Event Horizon wouldn't be quite so creepy as it is.
Yeah, like
There
that's
you
the
go.
thing. Yeah, Gremlins completely burnt me out of like like us being scared of horror films that are so much that it's like made me enjoy horror films so much. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So thanks,
thanks, Gremlins.
Gizmo. You've given me all the joy of a creepy Sam Neill co-host sometimes. Um, you know what? I'm really glad that we did this, and it was kind of nice just to take a little spin down there. I think if anybody's watching this on Christmas Eve or any other time, I'd love to hear in the comments down below. I think we'd love to hear what your first movie was. Let's not all get into the what age anybody is or try and be like, if your first movie was last week, we'd love to hear from you. If your first movie was Citizen Kane and you saw it on release night, we'd love to hear from you too. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. But most of all, get in the comments. I would absolutely love to know what other people's first cinema experiences were.
Yeah, and please watch as many Christmas films as you possibly can, like because it's Christmas and it's like the time of just sitting in front of a fire, getting all your snacks together, and just enjoying it. During like everybody deserves the Christmas movie marathon kind of time this year. So from Heroes House, we really want to wish you a Merry Christmas. Enjoy all those films as much as you possibly can, and yeah, thanks very
Can't
much for watching us.
can't say it any better than that. And with that, I have been Patrick.
And I've been Paul.
Happy
And
Christmas, everybody. We've been Heroes Out.
see you later,
See
guys.
you next time.